Hello, welcome back to Code Catalyst Academy. So as mentioned before, the live session audio messed up, so we're re-recording it right now, which is fun. So let's go through order operations and order operators and order of operations. So arithmetic operators, a lot of this should be familiar to you. Here we just have an addition symbol, subtraction symbol, self-explanatory. Multiplication is it's an asterisk instead of like an X or a dot that you do in like math in school. Division, here we just have a forward slash. Uh, here we just have a forward slash to indicate division, and then modulo. Modulo is, as you can see, it's just like the percent symbol, and it's really just like if you're to divide two numbers, modulo is like the remainder of that action of division. For example, as you can see here we have like 5 mod 6, and if you divide 5 by 6, you get like 0 with a remainder of 5, hence 5 mod 6 equals 5. If you were to do 4 modulo 2, that would equal 0 because 2 is a factor of it's a factor of 4. So and so if you were to divide 4 by 2, you just get a remainder of 0. So self-explanatory. And here we have basically like to indicate like the plus plus symbol, it's called an increment. It just increments a value by 1. It increases it by 1. Here we have 5 plus plus equals 6. 5 increased by 1 plus 1 equals 6. And minus minus, that's just the decrement. It decrements a value by 1. So like 5 minus minus, 5 minus 1 equals 4. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. And then here we have plus plus I versus I plus plus, or like a pre-increment versus a post-increment. This is a concept that will be more relevant as we go in the future as we approach like for loops and while loops, but it doesn't hurt to cover it right now. The pre-increment, or the plus plus I, increments the value, increases it by 1, then returns that incremented value. Like I have a demonstration here. Here we have the plus plus I. It will say that I is 2 and J is 2 because it increases the value, then it increases I, then returns that incremented value. So if we do it right now, boom, 2, 2. And then if I do j equals I plus plus, what do you think will happen? Well, j would equal to 1 because I increases, it increments by 1, uh, and then uh, and then it'll increment the value after the operation is over. So j still equals 1 because the operation technically isn't over at that point. So we run it, 2, 1. Yep, j still equals 1, whereas I incremented by 1 to equal 2, but j is still equal to 1. So yeah, that's just a short demonstration of a relatively important concept for future purposes. Okay, here's a little quiz. What operator would you use for this problem? It's like a classic interview question. It's called FizzBuzz. Essentially, given an integer n for every integer I less than or equal to n, the task is to print FizzBuzz if I is divisible by 3 and 5, Fizz if I is divisible by 3, Buzz if I is divisible by 5 or I as a string, if none of the conditions are true. And so, which operator would you use for this problem? Give me some time, and well, it's my axis doesn't work for some reason, but it's modulo. It's the percent symbol because it returns the remainder. So basically, you just want to set up like a basic like you'll learn about this later, but like conditional statement, like an if statement. If I modulo 3 and I modulo 5 both equal to 0, then you just want to play FizzBuzz, And if only I modulo 3 equals 0, then you just want to print vice versa. And that's because if it's divisible by 3, that means like that number modulo 3 equals 0 because the remainder is 0. Okay. And then integer division versus float division. So this is like a pretty simple concept. As you can remember before, the integer data type is just like a whole number, whereas floating point numbers or doubles are decimal point numbers. So yeah, this concept is very important. So if both numbers being divided are integers, then Java divides it as normal and disregards the remainder. So we have 5 divided by 2, which like as stated down here equals to 2.5. But since they're integers, it automatically rounds down to 2. Like it doesn't matter if it's like results in like 2.99999, it'll still round down to 2. It disregards the remainder because you're dividing by 2 integers. And next example is if there is at least one float slash double being divided, then it will return the exact decimal answer. So the number on the bottom doesn't have to be a floating point number or a double. Only the number on the top only like one only one number has to be floating point or double. So as we just have this, we get the exact number of 2.5. 5 divided by 2 equals 2.5. Pretty self-explanatory. And then here we have assignment operators. The equal sign is just like assigning a value to a variable. The plus equal sign, that's basically increasing a by 2. Yeah, it's basically a equals a plus 2. It's like if you had a plus equals 1, that'd basically be equal to like like an increment of a plus plus, or plus plus a. The minus equals is just the same, but you're just subtracting 2 from a. This should be 2, by the way. So messed up on that, I guess. So a equals a minus 2. This is what the minus equals operator does. And then this, it's just multiplying a by 4. It's saying a equals a times 4. And then it's like a pretty simple like pattern. You're basically like saying that a equals a, and then this operator 2. So like a equals a plus 2, a equals a minus, this should be 2, a equals a minus 2, a equals a times 4, and then this, if you've detected the pattern, it should be a equals a divided by 2, and then a equals a modulo 4, which, and remember, modulo just returns the remainder of like that division action. So, and then comparison operators, really fun stuff. So you'll see this a lot in uh, if statements, loops like while loops, and it's basically like comparing like two different values. So the double equals basically like equal to, like if like return like 3 equals equals to 5, and like if we do like uh, and since 3 doesn't equal to 5, it will return false. Boom. And then if we do this, true, since 3 equals to 3. So that's just, it returns like a Boolean value, like if 3 is equal to 3, blah, 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 if it's equal to. Not equal to. The exclamation point equals. So if we do like, yeah, since 3 does not equal to 3, that's not true, so it would return false. And whereas 3 does not equal to 5, since 3 does not equal to 5, that is true. So true, yeah. And then greater than, pretty self-explanatory. It'll just do the same, but determines if like one number is greater than the other, and then less than, same as this, but just flipped around. It'll return if one number is less than the other. And then this is just like greater than or equal to and less than or equal to, as you learned in math, but instead of like having like the little line underneath the greater than or less than sign, you just have the equals sign, since that's how we just indicate it on computers. So yeah, and I can do a short demonstration for you right now. If we do that, or that should just be the same, it'll be false, and then do that, true, yep, and then equals to 3 should return true since less than or equal. Oh, yeah, true, yep, and yeah, pretty simple. Oh yeah, here's a pretty like funny joke. In my opinion, it's funny I made this. So basically, it says that the equal to comparison operator does not equal to the assignment uh, operator, essentially. And it's pretty simple. Like equals equals is a comparison operator. Like if I wanted to do like 3 again, like 3 equals to 3, return true. Whereas like if I wanted to do like this, it's like assigning 3 to 3. It doesn't really make sense. It still works, but that's just like not how you do it. It'd be like it's for this essentially. The single equal sign is just for like assignment. It's assigning a value to like a variable, for example. And then if we do like this, yeah, yeah. So just in summary, the double equals is a comparison. You're just comparing two values. Equals is for assignment. You're assigning a value to a variable. Logical operators. So again, it's like basically it's like you want to return true if both this and this are true. If both this statement, this condition, and this condition are true. So like both conditions are true, otherwise false. So like if x is less than 10, which it is, and if y is greater than 1, which it is, it returns true. If like x equal to 11, 11 less than 10, that's not true. Even though this is true, since both these have to be true, since it's like this, and since it's a logical and operator, it returns false. Logical or returns true if one of the conditions are true, otherwise false. Since x equals to 5 and y equals to 5, neither of these are true. Since x equals to 6 and y equals to 3, it returns false. However, if this was like if x equals to like 6, then it would return true. Since this is true, if this or this are true, then it returns true. Logical not, it like negates an operation if not x equals to y, since x doesn't equal to y, the value inside here is false, and not false that returns true. So take some time to think about it, but after a while it just becomes like second nature. So yeah, just remember inside of this, here we have like 6 equals to 3, and that's false. So the value inside this parentheses is false. And then the exclamation point, it's like not false. What's not false returns true. So again, this exclamation point, it's, yeah, does like the opposite, or not. Negates an operation. So here we have the logical operators order of operations. Uh, and yeah, here we have just the logical not at the top, the logical and, medium, the logical or, low. Usually, yeah, it's just easier just to put it in parentheses like this. If you don't exactly remember the exact order of operations for the logical operators, it's just easier to put it in parentheses, but these mean the same thing. And then the operator's precedence in Java is basically like PEMDAS, basic order of operations you learn in math. Here we have parentheses, and then like you don't really have exponents, but yeah. You have multiplication, division, modulo doesn't really exist, and then addition, subtraction, and then you have all the unary operators up here. The sum, well, like the greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, those comparison operators. The fourth, fifth is just more comparison operators. Sixth is just the logical operator and of the logical and. Seventh is the logical or. The lowest is just the assignment operator. So yeah, again, you don't have to really memorize all of this. It's like just good to know. You can all Google it later. So yeah, and then here we have more homework later. Again, if you have issues, feel free to go into the Discord, ask. It's supposed to be like a community thing. You're supposed to learn together. Also, feel free to text any of like the executive board, any of the tutors. Feel free to text Ashwin, Rithwik, or I. And then, yeah. So, hope you guys have a great day coding. Hope to see you guys later. Bye.